Hey TCS TV viewers, it's Chris Nichols here from the camera store, and as you can probably tell, I'm not freezing cold right now. In fact, quite the opposite. It's incredibly hot, stifling humidity, and that's because Jordan and I are actually coming to you today from Bangkok, Thailand. So this is amazing. Sony's actually flown us out here to take a look at the facilities at Chonburi. This is where all the alpha cameras are assembled. Now, I know you're thinking, okay, well if Sony flew us out here, they're probably going to show us some amazing new full-frame camera, this big new A9 rumor that's kind of floating around. Well, there's no new cameras to look at. Sony has promised us some very exciting innovations for 2017, but we're gonna have to wait longer. They haven't shared that with us, but all's not lost because we've got some amazing new lenses. And what we're really excited about, what I wanna play with, is the brand new Sony FE 85mm 1.8. I've always loved this focal length. So we've brought the Zeiss Batis 85mm 1.8 from home. We've always loved this lens. We're gonna compare it against the Sony 85. We're gonna see, is the Zeiss really worth double the price point? I wanna take some shots, have some fun, and see, is it worthwhile doubling the price for the Zeiss Batis, or is this new Sony FE gonna be the 85 to go for? Now, before I go shoot with these brand new lenses, I do want to just talk about the handling on both of them. Now, they're actually very similar in the hand, and they're very similar size and shape and weight. I'd say the Zeiss is a little bit taller, they're a little bit larger, and it is slightly heavier, but they're so close as to basically be no different. Now, the other thing is, of course, you can see hoods on there. The Batis is a little bit longer hood on there. Both 67mm filter thread sizes on there, but there are some remarkable handling differences that are worth noting. On the Sony, I do like having the AF/MF button. Just let me quickly go to manual focus and adjust things, and that's very useful, especially when you are using a thin depth of field lens like this. We also have a continuous focus lock button right there, and I like having the knurled metal manual focusing knob. It's traditional, but it works, and you get a nice positive grip on there. Now with the Zeiss, what I love about this is we get the digital display, not only showing you your distance scale, but also things like depth of field range, and that can be really, really cool. You don't have any AF/MF buttons, so you're going to be switching that through on the body through the software. And the manual focus ring, it is really sexy, absolutely, but we do find that sometimes it's hard to get a feel on it. There's no sort of knurling or texture or anything like that. It's quite smooth, although I will say it does focus a little bit tighter, and that does give you that nice kind of control. Overall though, for all intents and purposes, when I switch back and forth between these lenses, I'm not really noticing much different. They handle well, they're a good size, and they're fairly compact for what they do. Well, viewers, as you can see, I'm on a boat right now. We're actually heading up the river to the Grand Palace. We're gonna get a little bit of culture and history. It's gonna be good, shoot a lot of stuff. And I think I'm gonna test these lenses a lot on the YouTubers and press that have come with us. So, you know, you can make a game of it. You can see how many celebrity photo press that you recognize, and we'll go from there. Alright, so I'm coming to you from in-camera audio, and that's because at the Grand Palace here, the GH5 isn't too big to use. But the GH5 with a shotgun microphone, an XLR adapter, and an extending rail, that's a little bit too big to use. So we're just not going to shoot any review here, we're just going to have some fun. The other interesting thing though is I've come to this beautiful location and I only have two 85mm lenses, so I'll see if I can make this focal length work with all this beautiful architecture. Alright, so we are now coming to you from Chinatown, and I just want to say what I've done so far is shot both of these lenses on the A7R Mark II, and I'm actually not focusing any different in speed. I'm finding basically the Batis and the FE are focusing the same speed in the same situations. So I'm switching over to the Sony a6500 now. Now, not only is the APS-C going to give me a little bit more reach with this lens, which is nice for street photography, but it is a faster focusing camera than the A7R Mark II. I want to see if there's going to be any appreciable difference. Got lots to shoot. Let's go do it. So, you know, just initial testing here as we're going around shooting between the Batis and the Sony FE. Again, I'm not really noticing anything different as far as focusing speed goes between the two lenses. Continuous, single, I'm getting very similar results. You know, just by eye, I'm not really getting a difference in feel or anything like that. So very, very comparable, almost exactly the same. All right, so as you guys can see, I think the scene in the background is fairly self-explanatory. Up here looking at elephants, and you know, get to this part of the jungle, we took 4x4s, very bumpy roads. I'm trying both lenses, and I really did appreciate having the image stabilizer in the Zeiss 85 Batis. And I know you get stabilization with A7R Mark IIs and 6500s, you know, with the Sony FE lens. But there's something to be said for having this in here. It was more stable. And remember, if you do shoot this on a 6300 or if you shoot it on an FS7, FS5, you might really appreciate having the stabilizer in the Zeiss lens. Is it worth double the price? In some situations, yes. And I do find that I like having the confidence of just that extra stability just to make sure that my shots are that much sharper. All right, so we are now coming to you from just outside a Muay Thai gym, and you might hear some of the guys fighting back there and whatnot, but we're here with Rishi Sanyal from an up-and-coming digital website called DPReview.
It's a small site. We're trying to make it in a saturated market, you know.
Why I brought you over here is, I mean, DPReview, you guys are very well known for doing highly technical tests, making sure you're checking out lens resolution, you know, aberrations, distortions. I mean, you're very good at that stuff, very, very skilled. And so I want your advice, I want your expertise. We're playing with the Sony FE85, we're playing with the Zeiss Batis 85, and I'm having a really hard time noticing any difference at all optically between the two. How about you? Have you noticed any differences?
Yeah, I agree with you. Obviously, we're going to put it through more of our standard testing and get some MTF numbers and do all that sort of stuff, side-by-side shootouts. But even before we do that, I've been shooting with the FE85 for a little bit now. I shot with the Batis for a long time.
Right.
And even just did some quick shots here while we're in Thailand. And I'm having a really hard time seeing the difference.
I mean, first we should say both excellent lenses. I mean,
absolutely.
You take a look here at 1.8 corner sharpness on these two photos between the two. Excellent to the corners. Yeah. Again, identical to just, you know, my eye. I'm not seeing really big difference.
Even F1.8, like, eye out all the way in the corner.
Beautiful.
It's
yeah.
just like completely tack sharp at 42 megapixels on the in there too.
Now,
it's really impressive.
Not noticing any major chromatic aberrations or anything like that? Nothing
Not
that
really.
jumps out?
So one thing about primes that bugs me a lot is axial CA or longitudinal CA, or better known as purple and green fringing, like right in front of and behind the focus plane. So both of these lenses don't have much of that. There's a tiny bit, which most fast primes have.
Sure.
But it's very little, and they're very comparable between the two. And the other aspect, as we were talking earlier, is bokeh, right?
Right.
So even there, like,
you're seeing some cat's eye in the corner.
Yeah.
You know, but again, it looks very, very similar. And
exactly.
So, I don't know, are they the same lens?
I know, I
like,
wonder,
you know,
I want to look at the optical designs and see if they're the same lens, like just without OSS.
Yeah, exactly. The only other thing I'm noticing, and it probably comes down to the coatings, to my eye the Zeiss looks just a little bit warmer and the Sony a little bit colder, a little bit greener maybe. But again, easy to fix, right?
Yeah, that's pretty easy to fix.
Well, I mean, the best thing to do is check out DPReview when you guys do your comparisons. Get the technical know-how. We're going to have something far more in-depth, but I appreciate your expertise. Cool. Thanks, man.
Very nice. All right. Good to
appreciate it. So the sun's going down. You get a beautiful view here at Koh Samui, and this is a good time to then outro our video review of the Sony FE 1.8. You know, basically, you leave it at this. It's a fantastic lens, it's well built, and we're having a hard time figuring out if it's not just an exact twin of the Zeiss as far as optical performance goes. But there are some things you gotta consider. I know it's twice the price, but the Batis is still gonna give you weather sealing, image stabilization, and a depth of field scale. Now consider that a lot of Sony products out there still don't have a sensor-based stabilizer, so that Zeiss Batis could be very useful. If you're doing video work, having the electronic depth of field scale, having the stabilizer, those are gonna be critical things, especially on cameras like FS5s, FS7s, stuff like that. Otherwise though, I think you're gonna find that the Sony for half the price is gonna give you Zeiss quality and performance. You're gonna love the image quality out of it. It focuses quick, it's well built, and it's a solid performer. I think it's gonna do well. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget, Tweet us if you have any comments. Check out our Instagram pages and make sure you subscribe. And from Thailand, goodbye for now. We'll see you soon.